I am La Puchi. I am born and raised in the Bronx. I'm a Bronx girl. My parents are Dominican descent. And yes, and I'm just representing here for everybody in the Bronx, for the underdog. When they tell you you can't do this, you can't do that, that's who I'm here to represent. So that's who I am. I'm the one that they told you're not going to be able to sing, you're not going to be able to record songs, you're not going to perform, you're not going to be doing any of this. And that is great. Here I am. So La Puchi is the underdog. I am. Nothing can stop me. The more people tell me not to do something, I'll be like, all right, I got you. I'm gonna do it anyway.
Woo-hoo. That was nice. How did you get that name, La Puchi? Like how?
Why did you choose that name?
Or why did you choose that name? What is the history of La Puchi?
The history of La Puchi is my mom.
Okay.
My mom, like, I lost my mom and my dad a few years ago. I lost my mom first, and then I lost my dad. But thank you. The love of music, and it came from my mom. She was like the biggest La Lupe fan in the world. And like, I was young and everything, but like every time she played La Lupe, like her whole demeanor changed, and like her attitude, she'll be like upset with my dad for no reason. Like, oh my God, like what happened? Because I didn't understand like how deep La Lupe was, like, oh my God, Latin soul, you know? So I was blessed because my mom gave me that gift of music, and not only in English, but in Spanish, even though she didn't speak English. My mother never spoke English, you know? Even though she lived here my whole life, I was born here.
That's how my mom's.
Yeah, so, you know, but the funny thing is when it came to music, because music is universal, she played all of it. So La Lupe, she was like the biggest fan of La Lupe. And I remember I was really young, but I remember when she died, I was still in the Bronx, and we were in the car, and I heard in the radio, oh, La Lupe passed away. And my mom just started crying, like crying. And they were playing her music, obviously, you know, homage to her. And I just, you know, I'm like, Mom, why are you so upset? And she told me, like, she's, you know, she was like my favorite singer, like her music. And I'm like, I don't know what happened really, but just that feeling that artist made my mom feel like that. I said to myself, I want to be that type of artist one day too. That, you know, that people can feel me like that and cry for me like that. Like, I didn't understand it till now. And her voice, and I discovered La Lupe. I just love her. I just love her story and everything about it. And Puchi came because the last movie my mom and I went to see was El Cantante. I'm like the biggest Mark Anthony fan in the world. Like, I have the vinyl record still in the plastic when he sang and wrote freestyle music. I don't know if y'all waiting for
Yeah. That's how
so I have all the original vinyl. So I'm waiting for him to meet him so he could sign it for me, the record, the actual record. But anyway, that's a side note. But Puchi, the way Jennifer Lopez portrayed her, when I saw her at the big, from the moment I saw, I was like, that's fucking me. That's me. I'm like, that's me. I don't know what you are, but this is me. And I identified everything minus the whole drug use. But she was so, minus that. But she was so strong, and, you know, that whole dynamic that they had between her and Hector reminded me a lot of myself and my husband. So I said, yo, that's me, yo. That's the Puerto Rican version of me.
Nice.
So I'm the Dominican version of La Puchi. So I just merged them together.
No, I love that story.
I love that story, and it's unique. So what was it like for you now discovering that you want to sing and that you are involved creatively with so many things? Because you do a lot of things, but let's tap into your singing. Like, what did you start? Did you go to classes, or you just said, I'm going to take a mic and I'm going to start writing my own songs? Like, how did that come about?
It started where I was born at. I was blessed to be born, which is now called hip hop, hip hop lane or hip hop street. It was Sedgwick Avenue before. Well, that was my whole scene. So I was blessed to grow up with that, you know. So I grew up with music all around me. But it was my mom, again, her record. She had a record of Amanda Miguel. I don't know if you guys.
Yes.
When I saw her, well, I'm not a match. This is not my hair color, girl. You know my hair looks like yours. You know it looks just like yours. So when I saw Amanda Miguel, she had like a purple bathing suit, which is my favorite color in the whole wide world, and the curly hair. I was able to identify for the first time as a little girl. I think I was like 4 or 5. I was like, I don't know what she does. I don't know how she got in this square thing, but that's what I want to be when I grow up. So I used to walk around with a red hairbrush all over the place singing, Amanda Miguel, like what? So that's where it all started.
Okay.
Wow. How was it for you to discover that new gift? You know, where did it take you either emotionally or on this journey of self-discovery? Like, how was that? Like, now have this gift under your title to express yourself.
Well, to be honest, I'm just grateful that I'm able to express myself now, because I haven't been able to express myself, and a lot of people don't even know that I can actually sing, including myself. You know, I'm my biggest, you know how we kind of put ourselves in our own way.
Yeah.
You know, and when you grow up believing, if you have so many people telling you you're not good at something, pick something else. This is not for you. You know, you're not pretty enough, or you're not tall enough, or you're not skinny enough. So you grow up believing that, like, okay, you know, I'm not those things, but music was my escape, you know, especially growing up where I grew up in the Bronx. There was, you know, it wasn't a lot of positive things going on at that time. It was more like New Jack City, you know what I'm saying? It was like crackhead city survival time.
Kind of like going back to that.
You know, okay, listen, I said I had my pistol, I wasn't playing. I'm dead serious. So it's kind of scary how we're going back to, but anyway, but yeah, so, and my parents were really strict, so they didn't allow me to go outside and like socialize and play or anything like that. So music was my escape. Like, I was able to be whoever I wanted, you know, so it saved my life. But I remember I started writing when I was around 8 years old. I started writing poems and stuff, just kind of expressing things down. And then eventually they started turning into melodies and into little chorus and the little songs. And then I realized, oh snap, this happens in Spanish and English. Get the fuck out of here. So I kept writing more than the singing part, because no one really encouraged it. Like, it was almost like, ay, oh my God, mire esta muchacha está loca. Ay, oh my God, you need to be a lawyer. Ay, you need to be a teacher. Anything else but that, you know, but secretly, you know, that was my thing. So
when
I'm just grateful to sing.
Well, no, when I was going to say, you know, because you touched on something that was great, that like, you know, for so many years, people either didn't believe in you or put you down, or didn't see the vision that you have for yourself, or didn't even encourage you to even say, well, keep trying, you know?
Right.
When did you say enough was enough and you said, fuck it? What was that moment for you? What clicked to push you to say, well, you know, everyone's either against me and I am starting to believe it, but you know what? Let me start thinking differently. What was that moment for you? What clicked? Just start. Let me go after it. Fuck it.
You know what? I'm gonna be real honest.
Be real honest.
Yeah, for real. I think it was when I met Alicia Keys at when she released her first album.
Name drop.
Yeah.
She said when we went to dinner with Alicia, I think it was there.
It was in the Bronx, in Parkchester, the record store. Please, I stood online for like 2 hours, and I spent my last $20 on a CD just to say hello. But
we was at White Castle.
Then I saw. No, it's like the Burger King was right up the block.
I met her once too, and I was a waiter.
Exactly. So I was so nervous and everything, like, oh my God, because I knew, like, I saw further than what I saw there. Like, that girl, she was so talented, and I'm like, oh my God. So I asked her, I said, I like to sing and I like to write songs. Like, what advice do you have for me? She's like, just keep writing. Don't ever stop writing. Whatever you do, just keep writing your own music. And I never forgot that, and I did. And that's my first single today. That's out.
Nice.
Woo-woo.
But,
and that was so. How about the beats and the music? Does that come from you, or you work with someone?
Well, actually, some songs I kind of like have beats in my head, and I haven't been able, because I've been trying to find, I've been at this for years, like for a really long time. It didn't really start till after I finished my undergrad. And I met my husband, because he's been coming with me to my auditions, and since I was 18. Like I said, my parents didn't let me go nowhere, so I couldn't do anything. Yeah. So when I met him, it was like, finally, like, I need to go downtown, take me on the train, and he would be like, okay, whatever. But he would take me to these auditions and these performances, and wherever I would just perform, and some I'll guess, I was just happy to do it. Like, I didn't even care what it was for or whatever. But yeah.
It seemed like you had all this creativity locked up within you that the moment you had that chance to explore in the world with it, like you just said, it was just gun-ho. It was like, let me just do it. How did you deal with, now you're putting yourself out there and not still listening to the negativity that's attacking to you of, what you've been hearing your whole life? How would you able to manage that to continue on and not let it stop you?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm still healing through it.
Yeah.
I have an amazing trauma therapist, and I am really big on mental health and self-care.
Yes.
And finally putting myself first. And that's something that's a process that, thank you.
That's awesome.
It's a journey. First and foremost, God, God has been with me every step of the way, and yes, I've lost my way, but God's always like, no, come back in here, girl. You're going to keep going. And there has been time that I wanted to give up. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm everything that you're not supposed to be. Right. And that's what makes me want to do it even more, because I'm going against the grain. I'm going against the norm. And even though I've healed the outside noise, what other people have to say, I think the biggest challenge has been me healing myself. Even just with you guys, I was just like a hot mess before, and I'm like having the best time ever, like this is awesome,
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, like, I'm finally feeling like I deserve this. I work hard for this,
and earned it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you. So it's just feeling like I belong. Like, yes, So I'm getting there. there.
Well, it's a process, and it's a journey.
Never stops. That self-growth journey never stops.
Yeah.
It's part of who we are if we choose to want to do it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. I think also
and it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say that it's a lot of hard work, and I think the biggest step is the first step is that you went on that path to do it, because a lot of people don't even take the first step, or they try and then they just give up on themselves. I think sometimes the biggest noise, which we touched on, is not so much from the outside world, but the world within us, our voice, our biggest voice. That's the one that we have to silence and, even learn from it, right? And then and then after a while overcome it to know that, like, it's not true, and then turn that enemy into a friend, You know, even with our spiritual teacher, Guru Enlightenment, that we learned, you know, the person that will always be there is the person in front of the mirror is you. You know, and that's your best friend. That's who you build up. That's what you love yourself. And I feel like a lot of the times we're so quick to do that for other people or in other relationships, but we forget to build that with ourselves first.
Absolutely.
And I mean, because you know, that is the most important person, you know, because you're seeing that now, like you're wearing all these different hats, right? So kudos to you, and super happy for you that you're still pushing on. You're a mother, you're a wife, you got your own damn life. You know what I'm saying?
Like, you have many degrees. You have like a PhD. You up to a PhD, girlfriend.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten accepted yet. I applied to NYU.
Yeah.
I'm currently living in Florida. I've been living in Florida for a few years now, but mira, ya yo le saqué todo el jugo que le iba a sacar a Florida.
Oh, sí, ya te quieres.
Ya la China está seca. God blessed us to get a nice little house. You know, we got a little property. God is great. So, cuando me dé mucho frío, yo vengo para atrás para mi casa y me caliento. You know? But I need to go home because I feel like
Bronx, you mean?
Bronx. I need to go back to New York.
The drugs. I know. It's good. That's good over there.
Because it's going back. It's going to take you back.
Yeah. That new Jack crack is back.
You know what I'm saying? Llegó Juanita y dijo que no volvía. So I'm going back to my roots because, you know, I feel that I have, in order for me to feel good about me, I have to make my community feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
It's always been about going back and like, okay, you know, I use education to get out of there, to get out of the ghetto, to get out of the hood.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I owe it to the hood and to the ghetto to go back and give them the education that I learned and the tools that I use to, you know, and tell these kids you have other options. Education is an option, you know. They have other things, but that's what I use to get out of there, you know, even though I hate school.
So what do you want to do? Teach? Do you want to go back and teach at school? Okay.
Mija, ya se fueron bolo.
Se fue.
Bolo. I've been teaching for over 20 years.
Ooh.
I am done. And not only teaching, my specialty is ESC. Autism.
Yeah. Oh, really?
That is my gift from God. That's my specialty. Awesome. And I'm not teaching anymore, but I want to be more of a mentor to teachers and support them and do the things I never got, like help, training, anything, a conversation, a prayer, you know, you know, how to set up a classroom, you know. So I want to help teachers like me that really want to teach what needs to be taught. I'm one of those rebel teachers, always going against the grain. So I got to go back. I got to go take care of my people, you know. And they're not in Florida. My tribe is en Nueva York. Yo tengo que volver.
I was going to ask you, in your time teaching, with kids that have autism, you know, which are very gifted, and also they are put down by society that they won't be able to accomplish what, quote unquote, a person without autism or disability would able to do. So, and those things I learned a lot being in their presence. You know, to me, one of the biggest gift was when they would bring me to their world, you know, and, you know, allowing myself to see from their side, which they would teach you a lot, you know, and I was thankful and blessed for those lessons. So I want to ask you, like, you know, of course you're going through your trials and your own inner tribulations. I would imagine that you being a teacher, being around these gifted kids, you know, that you was learning from them as well, because I feel that, and I feel like they continue to stay pure from the moment they come out, right? Where us, we are pure once, but we are attacked by society and our family and our friends, and we take on all their baggage, and we end up piling up all these bullshit ass layers on top of each other. Where these gifted kids, they stay open and they stay themselves, you know, and they, you know, they may be affected by sometimes from the world, but at the end of the day, they still remain true to themselves and who they are.
And
so
they're really honest.
and they're really honest. So
Yep.
how was what did you learn from? I go on to say, like, what did you learn from teaching them for so long, being around them for so long? What was some reminders about yourself?
I learned, well, they taught me to that I can do it.
Mm.
That I can do it.
Mm.
You know, your question just reminded me of when my first ESC teaching position here in a public school. Mind you, I've had the training and I've had, you know, like I have an extensive resume on that, but it's different when you have people's children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And their their livelihood, and not just their education, their livelihood, but especially children with autism makes them extra special. Mm-hmm. You know, because the parents, I know they're going home, they're going to work worried or concerned, and you know, are they gonna, you know, mistreat them? Are they gonna eat? Are they gonna just all those things as a parent? And I myself was able to relate to them because one or two of my kids have had special needs that I've had to, as a mother, to attend to. And thank God for my background as a teacher and my experience that I've been able to kind of like, okay. But a lot of parents don't have that.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So to me, being given the privilege to work for these gifted children is a blessing, because they've shown me patience and gratitude and just love.
Right.
Because they feel you. They're not, especially the nonverbal, just because my daughter and my son were nonverbal for so long. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I was able to communicate with them without speaking. Mm-hmm. That's something they don't teach you. That's something that they don't train you for. It's just something, to me anyway, personally, it's a gift that I have. Mm-hmm. You know, and some of these students are students that even their own parents are not allowed to touch them. They don't like to be touched, or, you know, there's certain triggers for them. And I just joined them in their world, like you said. And you know something? I like it there. I like it in their worlds. Mm-hmm. There's no judgment. Mm-hmm. There's no bullying. It's just nothing but love. And just don't hurt me. I won't hurt you. And it's the pure and the innocence that we could just sit there staring at anything, but there's peace there. There's no judgment there. So that's what I learned. They taught me to be a better teacher and a better human at the same time. So to me, it was never a job. I always got teachers and peers or other people that would look at me like, why do you want to work? You know, why do you want to, you know, and I'm like, because I want to. That's where I'm happy, you know, to be quite honest. So.
What did you find challenging within working as an autistic teacher, and also in your career as a singer? What have you found challenging that you have had overcome?
As a ESC teacher, it was more the administration, it wasn't the
politics.
Yeah, it was all that, and
that's like the number one thing that I always hear from the good teachers.
It was more that, you know, all my parents, I had a great relationship with all my parents because I was honest with them. I spoke to them like a mother and a parent, like a parent, because I am, you know, and I will always use my life as an example and say, look, I know the same worries you have, so do I. We share the same thing. And that made it easier for them to trust me and vice versa. But it was the politics and in Florida, there's no union. Mm-hmm. They used to call me the union rep. I'm just going to leave it there.
Okay.
I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah.
And then I created the Underground Railroad. That was for when all the real teachers get together, want to know what's really going on. They knew I would text them, we have a we made t-shirts. Oh my God.
That's awesome.
On the ground.
Yeah.
So I was that teacher. I was the one like, nah, we gotta get together. So yeah, it was all politics. That's the part that I don't want no part of. But I love my parents, and I love, I had, when I was teaching, I taught in New York too, in the Bronx. Hello, I started teaching first up there. That's where I got my training from, BX. I had parents that would come see me perform my Selena songs. I would, cover Selena in different areas in the Bronx. And I had parents that would bring their kids, my students, to see me perform and stuff. So, yeah. But the most challenging thing in the singing part is, to be honest, the men.
Yeah.
Really?
Like thinking that, like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's taking me so long, if you want to be honest. Like, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, I don't knock anybody. Whatever your hustle is, boo-boo, whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
If I gotta, Moses waited, I'ma wait my turn, because God and I had a conversation, and I said to God, if this is my purpose, if this is what you okay with, because this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. And if I have your blessing, I'll wait. And I think that's what's taking me so long. And that was the negative part. And that's me having my husband there, with me and stuff. And thank God I've been in situations, but I'm glad that I've never had to like use my body or sell my body or anything like that to get anywhere. But unfortunately, it can't, I don't know about now it's different, obviously, but back then it was totally different. So,
but what I appreciate about and I love about you is that you make it happen. You're not waiting for anybody to make it happen for you. You are making it happen. You do a lot. You're teaching. You have your clothes that you sell. You singing. You working with kids. Like, you are making it happen for yourself, and you should be very, very proud of
it. It seems like after all these years, what you've been teaching all your kids to do, you finally started really taking it in for yourself, right? Yeah. That's like the number one thing that I always, as I got older, and then being around, learn from my parents' relationship, and then becoming a parent, and then being around parents. That this whole thing of like, we're all, growing up, we always tell them you could be anything you want to be. You could do this, you could be that, you could be that. But then after a while, like that, for us, when we heard that growing up, we believed it, but then it just stops and we become part of the matrix and everybody else at a certain age. And we forget about that. And it was like, well, the dream is to, get health insurance, have a good job, and pay rent and all that stuff. You get sucked in that world. But not realizing that's just one part of the world, and the other world is still your world that you still have to go and conquer it and go after your purpose and do what you love. The same way you put your energy into a 9 to 5, you got to put it into your dreams, into your goals and passions. So I say that to say that after a while, once you have kids, you tell them that, and then we just stop because they get to a place of they have to be an adult now, right? And I feel like we should never stop saying that. We should never stop watering the children and also ourselves.
Yep.
We should continue to say at any age to be like, yeah, you want to act? You can still act. Take the layers of why you want to act out, which is like maybe one of your reasons, I want to act to be famous or make money. Take that out. It's not about that. Right. You're simple like, I want to create. I want to act. You can do it at 40. 50, 60, 70, 80. It doesn't matter. You can sing at those things too. And I think that's so important to know, especially, it's always refreshing to hear these type of stories when we are blessed to hear them in this podcast. Is to, see that it's never too late. It's never too late. Oh,
absolutely not.
You can always go after it. And even if you're the most busiest person in the world, it just takes sometimes 30 minutes to do what you love,
Absolutely. I totally agree. And I'm one that, I don't know if it's the Bronx in me, we have that hustle, that hustle, no matter where we at in the world, you could put us anywhere, we'll survive. We're going to make something out of nothing. And that's been my whole story. I'm making something out of nothing, and being creative. And I knew I always had that. I knew I always had that ability to do that. But just to do it in a more public form is just kind of taking its world of its own.
Yeah.
But I've been grinding and doing the work because I take opportunity. Anything that's for free that, you know, that I can in audition or whatever, I just give it a shot, you know, or this, even you guys, like I had no idea. And I was just like, you know what, if God put this in front of me, it's for a reason. I always do that with education and with performing arts, you know, and it's that voice of saying, they told you couldn't do it, show them wrong.
How did your environment help you into being who you are and tough? You know, the reason why I asked that, because you know, I always relate to stories of people that come from tough neighborhoods. Like myself, I grew up in Brooklyn, you know, and to me there was a lot of good and was surrounded by a lot of bad. And to this day, I don't think I would have accomplished half of the things that I was able to accomplish if it wasn't for the environment that I grew up in, because it toughened me up. It showed me the rights. It showed me the wrongs. Yes, it was dangerous, but I wouldn't want it any other way. Like if I had a chance to do it all over, I would, because there was a lot of things. Be street smart, you know, how to read people. It taught me a lot of things in life that college and school would not teach you.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. Totally agree. Although I wasn't allowed to be out, you know, like hang outside and stuff like that, I did have windows. And
well, you went to school though, and you had to,
and I went to Catholic school.
Okay.
I went to a private school. That's a whole other show.
But you still had to leave your projects in the bad neighborhood.
Oh, but yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And survive those gunshots.
Crackheads, absolutely. Because we had a back then was the abandoned buildings.
Yeah,
and it used to be the crack dens
in Harlem.
Yep. Oh my Lord! So you know, every morning, you know, oh Lord,
you still soaking
the brick moves.
Yeah,
Pastor Buddy.
Yeah, you still was surrounded by the environment, still was soaking that in. So even though you went to a Catholic school, you know that it saved you for a couple hours. But guess what? The priest and the nuns ain't walking you back home.
no, they weren't. You know, they weren't. But I wouldn't. You're right. I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't change it for the world, because it made me who I am. You know, that street smart, that same energy I brought with me when I went into the studio, and I realized that they were acting funny. You feel me? Because my husband walked out the room or something. I'm always on point. You know, even though I've been in Florida, believe me, I'm a New Yorker 100%.
Yep.
And just that jungle concrete cement kind of that hustle. That's what kept me alive. Because you really can't make money like that. There's not that grind. So getting jobs, you gotta know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Mostly, you know. So it's not like Jesus Christ. So it's not like New York and the Bronx and Brooklyn, like yo, I got you, and and you up to the next. It's so slow. But like that tenacity, that hunger that we have, and the best thing about growing up the way we did is that I could live in any hood. You know, anywhere. I could live anywhere. And you know, I know how to be poor, and I know how to around people with money.
Much to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and only New York can do that for you. Only growing up in that type of environment, because you have no choice. You know, I know what it is not to have anything, but I know what it is to have it. You know, so it's just that tenacity, and I'm grateful for that hunger, and it hasn't gone away. Age doesn't make it go away. You still have, if anything, the older I get, the wiser, because now I know how to use my time. See, I'm with you guys right now. If I wasn't with you guys, I'll be sleeping.
Yeah, so I mean, same here.
You feel what
As you get older, sleep is so important. You want that sleep.
These young kids, they don't know. They should be sleeping. Or on a podcast with you guys. You know what I'm saying? But unless it's a reason that's gonna this step hopefully will bless me to another step, and will bless you guys for another step. if there's no purpose in that, then there's no purpose of even doing anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm all about. And I'm so grateful New York and the Bronx just instilled that in me. And I'm just going to keep going. Even when I feel like I'm not going to do it, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm stuck. Like, no, I'm still going to freaking do it.
Right. What have your children given you that you didn't know you had? And a new discovery for yourself?
Oh my goodness. My kids, first of all, I have the best kids in the world. Like literally they're my best friends.
Oh.
And I don't know if I did a lot of good things, but I know I got something right. And that's my three kids. You know, not only are they beautiful, they're smart. Three. I have a 21-year-old.
Wow.
I have a 19-year-old and I have a 10-year-old son.
Nice. Oh wow.
And they're super talented and gifted in their own way. And what they taught me is that I'm not my past. I'm not my parents. They taught me to be a better version to be the authentic version of me. You know, when you grow up, especially in a Hispanic Dominican, you know, culture is always, you know, you don't answer back. You don't question. You don't ask a question. Forget question. You don't ask. You don't even speak. It's silence. You dead. You know, like you die. You know, and you grow up with that generational curses, you know. So my kids have blessed me with like, nah, ma, you too cool for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even my parents were trying to tell me that as they got older, but I didn't really get it then. It's part of the healing process, you know, and grieving and all of that. I realized when they told me, you know, no, tiene que hablar a los muchachos, tiene que hablar al paso, whatever. You know, they tried to kind of, you know, make amends at the end or whatever. But I realized that I kind of pick what serves me positively as a parent. And what served negatively is I don't need it anymore, you know, and I can be me. I'm not my mom. I choose to be the best versions of her through my music, through my singing, through my dancing, my fashion, whatever, all that she inspires me to be. I'd rather focus on that and pass that along to my kids than the negative. Te doy los tres galletas, ponme te saco todos los dientes. And I'm like, what? Like, my son be like, whoa, like, I don't even know what you're saying. I don't speak Spanish. But it's just that whole, you know, it's not, we have a new generation. Our kids are smart. They're bright. You know, they're smarter than us. I was calling her to help me set up here. You know, so I can't come like my mom and my dad used to or whatever. So they taught me just to be my authentic self. Nice. And I think I'm doing the same for them. And our kids mirror us. You know, they mirror everything that we do. And I always tell them, always remember and copy the positive in me, the good of mommy. You know, I'm not perfect, and Lord knows I ain't trying to be. But
also learn from it too.
You know, learn from my negative experiences or whatever. But
because I think too,
you're teaching them both.
I think that's what I think as we get older, we have to learn and realize. It's something I had to learn through healing too, through sessions with my spiritual teacher, that seeing our parents as a human being and not as a parent. Because at the end of the day, they have their own fucking journey too, and they're not perfect either. So, and of course, it's only natural when we're growing up. They're the first people that we start to love, so we look at them as our superheroes. But superheroes also have a journey and a story too. They wasn't always super, you know.
Absolutely.
So, you know, what was a big lesson that you learned going to trauma therapy, that a lesson that helped you to heal? You know, something that even if something comes up, you go back to that lesson, you know?
Oh my God, there's so many lessons, so many, because this is, you know, a healing journey is something that looks different for everybody. And it all depends on what we carry, you know, especially when we carry childhood trauma. We think, oh, well, that happened when we were so little, or you know, that doesn't affect, you know, when we
you
grew up.
Repress and you hide it.
Especially when the key players, the adults, are not honest or even allow you to even ask a question or say, hey, I've been having this nightmare for, I don't know, for years now. And am I crazy or did something happen? Like, can somebody, and it's just like, go to your room,
Yeah.
So, yeah. So one of the biggest thing is forgiving or forgiving without getting an apology.
Yeah.
Forgiving without ever receiving an I'm sorry, not having to need that.
Yeah.
For closure, especially when maybe the other person may be deceased or not around, or you just don't even need that. Like some people,
or even they don't even see it through your eyes, and it was like, I'm not apologizing.
Yeah, like some people kind of need the person to be like, oh, I'm sorry, to feel like, okay, now I feel better. Like, no, like, it taught me to kind of just learn how to forgive without any of that, just through the process. And with that, I've learned also to forgive myself, which is the most important out of all, everyone else.
That's the key.
I'm learning how to forgive myself. So if that's one of the many things, I always have to go back to that because different things might trigger, I do have, my anxiety and I do have my, depression. I mean, who doesn't do this?
Everybody.
But, if you don't, I don't know. I think I'm concerned now.
You're an alien.
Word.
Right?
Or you're not putting
ansiedad. ¿Qué es lo que tú estás haciendo? ¿Con quién tú andas? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yourself.
So yeah, so that was one of the main things I would say is just loving myself, forgiving myself.
Nice.
I think,
that's beautiful.
it's taking one day at a time.
How did you? Where did this? I would say, where did this genuine love come from you? Where, and what I mean by that, just by looking on your Facebook and the love that we've been getting from you, through our projects, not even know. To me, it seems sincere and genuine. So like, and it's always, it's rare sometimes to receive that, and to have someone, because sometimes a lot of people just do it just for social media or whatever, or they just fake positive, they just doing it to play a character, but they're fucking miserable. Where did this genuine love come from that you want to spread to people? I would assume maybe just being a teacher, right? Like, or deeper than that.
Honestly,
yes.
Honestly, I miss my parents. They were my best friends. Like right now, I will be talking to them and telling them about you guys and how wonderful you are.
Well, they still hearing it. To them, they hear you.
Yeah, and so like when it comes from me not having love and support for the stuff that I always wanted to do. Like even my parents, I know they're not laughing now because now I am, but they used to laugh at me when I was little and I was singing and stuff, and I'm like, dang, I'm that bad. But anyway, I show love because I always feel like I'm sending hearts to my parents, and I'm supporting people the way I always wanted to be supported. So it is genuine. And I love like cheerleading other people because I never had that. I've always been, I consider myself not like a loner, but like a leader. I'm not a follower. Like I was never into like the girl thing. Like I'm not that type of girl, and I always did my own thing, So when I see someone does something good, especially in the arts, or that makes me feel good, like, makes me smile, I want to show them love because I feel like they deserve it because they did something nice. They make me happy.
That's beautiful.
That's so beautiful. I wish that the world was like that. A lot of people in the world were like that.
No, but it's
bless you.
No, it's true.
You are blessed.
Yeah, I mean it's true because encouragement goes a long way. And also honesty goes a long way. Because if you suck, I'm not gonna be like you suck, but I'm gonna be like, I think we should work on it, but don't give it up. And we got some things to tweak it, and then give them constructive criticism. But it's so, words can damage you when you're young, and you can, like we touched on, it can make you believe that you really suck at certain things. Where something as simple as like, you know what, keep going, keep doing it, you're gonna get better. That goes a long way, So I can understand how you felt like, man, you wish you had those certain things around you to encourage you. So then you're gonna become that person for other people. I've been, I had my challenges with that, and I've been blessed to have the support and love too. But I always made it like, touching on that story, I'm the same way. If I hear someone that they have a dream, or if they have a goal, or let's say they just need a Metro card to go do something that they want to do, I always made it my business, because in my journey, I've been blessed with people that did it for me, that I'm going to give you that Metro card. Oh, you want to go be an actor? And you come to me for advice. Here's some notes. Here's some stuff. Also, here's a list of all these acting classes. Here's some stuff that's free. I want to give you all the information. Now, what you do with it, it's up to you.
Right.
But I'm always going to be that person to push you, because I'm not so interested of the 9-to-5 jobs and stuff like that. But if I hear them, if I just hear something and someone like, oh yeah, man, I wish I could play a trumpet, or man, I haven't played the trumpet or the saxophone in a while, and I've just been busy at work. I'm in my head, not in my head, but I'm going to tell them like, yeah, keep doing work, but do that trumpet, go back to trumpet, go back to the saxophone, at least 10 minutes. Don't give that up. I'm always that type of person. Like, don't give that up. I understand you have a child, you're busy, but don't have to give that up. There's a time for it. So I think that's beautiful that you're all that person to a lot of other people and to yourself now. And, even though, your parents may have laughed at you at certain times in their life, and you perform for them, I think they're smiling, because at the end of the day,
they saw that you didn't give up.
You didn't give up. And sometimes that laughter, right? Or if you want to go back and dissect it, sometimes it really wasn't directed towards you in a bad way of like, wow, you can't sing or anything like that. Deep down, they were jealous that you had the balls to come out of your shell to do something that they're afraid of. Sometimes we have to realize those things.
You got something there.
Yeah, because they don't know
they wanted to, because they had to hustle and support the family, and
here's
you going for it.
And here's a child exploring that world, exploring that creativity, where your parents may have not had those opportunities. So of course their first thing is to laugh at it, right? But deep down they wish they had the balls and creativity that you had to do it. And in hindsight, it may seem like negativity, but they were preparing you for the world. For the world.
And they did. And
so it was, and it was a gift.
It works, because every time I'm behind that microphone when I'm in the studio, I remember that, and that's what gives me like the because look how far every time I'm like, I went from I'm not supposed to be here, because that was my mentality. I'm not supposed to be here to I'm here. This is where I'm supposed to be. Right. This is what I'm meant to be. That's why I am here. Right. And what? I think you're right, because my father used to sing to me all the time.
Well,
and he used to sing all the time. Tabaco is gone. Tabaco. Tabaco. So I think my father wanted to sing. Now that I think about it, I think he did want to sing.
Yeah, because look, our parents
and your
have.
mom was into music. So
saying your mom.
They came here from Dominican Republic. They had to hustle, support the family. Of course, they're not gonna. They follow their dreams. They have new dreams now, and unfortunately, they had to provide, and that was their goal. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they ended up forgetting about themselves, and that's what a lot of our parents end up doing.
Look, your mom had all these records and connected to someone for a reason, right? Music is very powerful. Maybe deep down, secretly, she wanted to do that. Yeah. Secretly, she wanted to do what you want to do. But sometimes as children, as we get older, we don't sit down to even ask our parents, what did you really want to do? Yeah. And sometimes they don't even are honest enough to say
want to talk
this is
about
what
it.
I want to do.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
quickly to say is, well, I had no time to think about that because I had to go from DR to over here and had to work and fucking pay the bills. And stuff like that. But
Yeah.
deep down, if they allow themselves to be honest and true, no matter how dumb or stupid it may sound, you know what? I want to be an astronaut. And a Dominican astronaut, you know what I'm saying? Like they would you would laugh. That what they did to you, you would do to them. Like a Dominican astronaut. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
not really realizing that you would laugh, but also say, but that, you know, you could have done that. And they're like, nah, I can't, because they had the same type of people that was shitting on you, shitting on them, and it wasn't a reality to them. So I guarantee you now, they're supporting you on the other side, you know, in the spiritual world, and they are definitely they learn from you and they admire you. You know, I have my own history with that where I had to just, you know, my mom was very, you know, was supportive, and I had to realize that, you know, that she was on my side, and the way she's thinking, she's from a different time, so it's not negative. She's just from a different time, and I had to let that go, you know, because you know, that's her world. I have a different world, and at the end of the day, I'm showing her the difference that, like, yes, I can have a career, mom, and then I also have my dreams and goals that I'm still pursuing. I would never let that go.
Yeah,
you know,
that's like my parents too. Like they would when I was in the arts and acting and stuff. They were like, they'll go to my shows, they support it, but then they'll be like, okay, so did they pay you? Like they'll ask those little questions,
right?
Because they just want to make sure that I'm okay,
Right.
And but at the end of the day, the support is, for me, the support was that they didn't tell me I can't do it. You know, that they were there, they let me do what I needed to do, and that to me was supported. Even if they were saying they didn't say I'm proud of you, but that to me showed me support because they were there.
I think for me,
you know?
I think I had to. A lot of people, and I think I had to stop crucifying people for the way I wanted them to be with me, and just accept them for who they are, the good and the bad. Take the bad, learn from it, and then say I don't fuck with it. Take the good, you know. Maybe one day they say I love you, or maybe say, you know, it was a good show. Take it, you know. And I think I had to stop crucifying people for that. You know, no one's here. No one owes me anything. No one owes me, hey, you're great, you're talented. No one owes me support. And I just clinged on to the people that were there. And you know, some people say, look, I like this one song, I don't like the other one. Take it. You know, it is what it is. And I kept on going after that, made it about me. Well, what do I like? You know, what do I love to do? You know what I'm saying? And the moment I started doing that, taking control of my life and my thoughts, things got better in the creative world for me, where I stopped doing it for the wrong reasons and I started doing it for the right reasons. It wasn't to show people that I'm able to do this or I'm able to create funny. It was to show myself that I can do it. And then once I set myself free from that, people, you know, who loved me or supported me, it was a blessing, it was a gift, and I was forever thankful and grateful. But number one, it started with me. I had to really realize that, and through the help of my spiritual teacher, that when I go on that stage, it's for me. When I go write, it's for me. When I perform, it's for me. I'm showing myself, I'm proving myself. Because at the end of the day, it's not for anybody else. You know, people really don't give two shits. they don't care. Like, I mean, they'll give you the love, but at the end of the day, if you tell them, yo, I stopped writing. Oh, okay. Damn, that sucks. Or some people that did like you, damn, you should never give that up. But you know what? The next day they're gonna go to work, forget about it, and that's it. The one that's gonna stick with it, that you stop writing, is fucking you. You're gonna want to be like, damn, why did I stop singing? Damn, why didn't I go to that session? Damn, what, you know? So it has to be for you. You know,
it's a form of self-care, and for me it became a part. It went from a childhood dream, and it went from like, oh, something I wish, I wish, you know, wish upon a star, to like I dabbled into it a little bit. Then I started teaching, became a mom, still kind of kept dabbling with it. And then it turned into, I have to do this to survive. I have to do this to stay alive. You know, after working, teaching in New York and in the state of Florida for over 20 years, and going through all the things that I went through, my health declined severely.
I remember you talking about it on Facebook.
Yeah, and I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and I was diagnosed a year before my mom passed away. And then after I lost my mom and then I lost my dad, it became chronic. So basically, I'm here. I have the job of my dreams because I love teaching. You know, I'm working, everything's great. And all of these things, like my whole world turned upside down, you know, and I took care of my parents. I was not only just teaching full time and taking care of 3 kids and getting a master's degree, I was caring for my mom and dad, every doctor. So they didn't speak English. So I had to speak to every doctor and every nurse and every pharmacy and all of that until they died. So I was juggling a lot. So my body kind of said,
yeah,
I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And unfortunately, it became chronic. So I am no longer able to teach in the classroom in that capacity anymore. So what I was able to do is turn my negative experiences into positive. You know, being in bed for months and not being able to take care of myself physically and feed myself and having to depend on my kids and my husband at my age, like what? You know, like what is happening? Like God, like what did I do to deserve this? But no, I went from why to why not? Why not? And when the doctors told me, you know, there's no cure, like you know, go home, lose weight, and deal with it. That's basically So then I said, oh my God. So I made a decision at that time. I was in a really dark place and I said, I'm either going to live or die. And I wanted to live for me. And music did that for me. I went back to acting classes. You know, I went back to writing my songs. I took out the notebook. I got myself a therapist. I started, you know, walking, getting physical therapy. And, you know, as the weight was shedding, it's almost like I went through a whole transformation. And in that process, La Puchi was being born, like, you know, manifesting herself, you know, as I'm journaling this, I'm literally manifesting my artistic self into life, you know, and I live with pain every single day of my life. But I'm not going to let that stop me from achieving my dreams. It's just something else that's there, you know, but I want people out there to know that there's no limitation to what you can do. You know, only you, I am my worst enemy. Only I can stop me from doing what I want to do, you know? And so I've used that pain and I'm eating healthy and I've made all these decisions that all have contributed and have put me right where God wanted me to be. My purpose here today, here with you guys to share my story. Don't give up. I you know, my only advice to people is just keep going. Even when it's you feel like there's no way out, God will help you find a way out. And music and dance, acting did that for me. So it turned into survival. I had to live. And I was able to come out with my song. I was able to get myself in a recording studio. I was able to get on stage and perform and act, you know, in front of a live audience with a broken neck. I remember I was on so much meds, but I did it. Like the audience didn't know, but you know, I still did it because it was saving me. It was healing me at the same time, you know? So God is great. So just don't give up on your dreams.
I could see how powerful being passionate about your creativity is, and I can relate to that because there is no pain in the world that can take you out of that, and instead it'll bring you healing. And with that said, I wanted to ask you because I remember watching that video when you shared that, and you were really honest and vulnerable at that time when you were sharing that. And I wanted to ask you, you have mentioned that you chose not to take the meds anymore because they gave you a whole cocktail of them. When you chose to stop taking the meds, obviously the doctors helped you, guide you through that. After that, what did you do to help you with that pain that wasn't medication? Was it use herbs? What did you do? And spiritually,
the
what
crack
helped
from
you?
the Bronx.
No, because I want people to hear, like, there is an option. Of course,
there are other options.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's different, and I'm not a doctor, and I'm not an expert. I can only speak from my body and for what I've done for my temple. To be honest, they had me on this cocktail because the pain, it was just really bad. I was just desperate. It was just more of a just get me out of this agony. Like it was a lot.
Was the pain, is it like your fingers?
Now it is. Now it's in different, like it's all over my body. But what I've learned of it is you get flare-ups. And the flare-ups can last a few minutes, a few hours, a few days, a few weeks, a few months, a few years. So these are the things that, like everything else, nobody tells you. There's not a book, it's not, well, the healthcare here in Florida sucks. So that's a whole different conversation. So you kind of got to figure it out as you go along, and do your own research. So once I realized the cocktails, I was grateful for that. I don't have a predisposition of having addiction. Medication. So that's why I tell people this is like very tricky, because if I would have had a predisposition of being, of drug use and all of that, I can see how easy like that, because they give me a hard time for physical therapy. But when it comes for medication, when it comes to the pills, the pharmacists are the biggest drug dealers they are. The pharmaceutical, the doctors, that's all they want to do. I gained in months, I gained over 100 pounds. And I felt bigger than that because I was swollen. I was taking all controlled substances. So I was like a walking, I was out of it, out of it. Yes. So it was to the point that I was I suffer from chronic fatigue. And when I would walk, I would feel like the marshmallow man.
Oh, wow.
That's how, and I didn't understand. I just didn't understand what was happening to me. I started having chest pains and shortness of breath. And I kept telling myself, I don't feel good. I just feel like I'm honestly, I felt like I was dying, to be honest, because I couldn't breathe, and I just said to myself, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I did a research, and then I realized all the medications that I was taking. I was like, oh my God, these are what? And this is a what? And this is a who? And this is and I shouldn't be drinking this with this. So the doctor really was not even monitoring that. It was more like, do you want more? Do you need more? Do you need more? So once I realized that, and once I was like, oh no, this is not for me. So honestly, it wasn't with the help of the doctors. It was when I started with my trauma therapist, my therapy, that I started expressing, I don't want to keep taking this medication. I know I have a lot of pain. And I know I'm suffering, but there has to be another way. So I slowly started cutting them out until it got to the point that I was getting sick. So I don't recommend that, because although I'm not addicted to them, my body having withdrawals, and I didn't even know what was happening to me. So that's when I realized I shouldn't be doing this. Is not healthy to be doing this by myself. And I got my psychiatrist on board, and and I expressed I don't want the medication. Stop. People are killing me. And she finally heard me. They finally were like, okay, we're gonna do this your way. So I literally was taking myself down. Okay, every month, every time I have my appointment, okay, let's bring it down more, until I got rid of all of them except for one, because I get spasms in my brain and my neck. So that one, I'm on volume, and it's in the smallest percentage, and I monitor it, but because I have no choice, I have the brain. It's just too much. Yeah, it's just too much. But physical therapy, eating right, oh my gosh, the only thing I drink is water. caffeine is not our friend. Caffeine is not good at all. I don't eat any caffeine. Everything is decaffeinated. I had to change my entire way of eating because a lot of the foods were affecting and causing even more inflammation and more pain. So, and in a way, I'm kind of grateful because now I'm the healthiest I've ever been. And I keep, going at it. And then I realize that a lot of people that suffer from fibromyalgia are overweight because of the medication. And, and because they don't realize how it affects them, because it does make you lethargic. It does make you just want to be in bed all the time, and you feel like shit. You're depressed because you can't do anything. You're in pain, or you have anxiety, So and to be honest, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I smoke weed.
Okay.
But you find your way.
I wouldn't change it. I've been smoking. I was smoking way before that. I've been smoking since I was 18 years old. Hello.
The Bronx, I'm telling you.
Hello, I get to the buck. But now it's more, like I said, I don't have an addictive personality. So I still went to school, still went to work, did my job, sober, always sober. But anyway, some people can handle that, some people can't.
Yeah.
But for now it's more of, I don't get high anymore. It's not even for that. Now it's because for the pain. It just gives me a moment to kind of just chill. For a little bit. And I wouldn't change it for the world. I wouldn't change it. CBD is great. My sons-in-law work for just CBD and a lot of creams and a lot of sea moss and stuff like that. So I'm leaning more to the holistic and more natural. And I do have my card. I have my Florida medical card, so everybody calm down.
Oh, but you're leaving though. You're leaving, so it doesn't matter.
I don't need it no more. You know what I'm saying? It's just in case when I come here, I'll be like, look, I got my card. Like, calm down, pipe it down. So but like I said, it's not for everybody. But for my body, yes, it is.
Well, it just seems like you touched on finding what works for you. Medication is there and it could help people, but once again, everybody has their own remedy. There's something out there for everybody. Like you said, you didn't want these 10 medications. You end up after a while just taking that one that works for you and the lowest thing. But you took control. You listened to your body. You listen to what you needed to do, because at the end of the day, you're just a number to these doctors, and they're going to keep prescribing stuff. But you took control of it to find a way. They're like, okay, I'm going to deal with some of this pain. I'm going to take this low dosage, and then I'm going to find other healthy, holistic things that I can do to manage this. And I think that's what a lot of people need to be aware of when it comes to their health.
You're your own advocate.
And, be your own advocate. You know what I'm saying?
You have to make sure you do
you have to.
Ask
listen
the questions.
to your body, ask questions.
Yeah, for sure. Your body does talk to us.
Doctor's not the higher power, so don't think that whatever they're saying
and especially with healthcare today, with everything that's going on, these doctors are overworked, short-staffed, stressed out, and if you don't have a good insurance that pays major pocket, you'll be lucky if they even see you. So it's like that. So yes, you can question your doctor. Yes, you can question, do I really have to take that medication? And do your research. Like, how does this affect my body? Like, how, is this going to be a positive or a negative thing? And that we do have a choice in what we drink and what we don't. We do have a choice.